Okay, so this is the Daf Yomi for the first day of Pesach, which we're recording on Erev Pesach, and we're going to start in the very last words on Zayin Amud Beis. So, actually, 4 lines from the bottom on Zayin Amud Beis. So, the Gemara says that if she admits her sin and she says Tamei Ani, she says, actually, I am Tamei. I had sinned. Then what we do is we tear up her ksuva. So we see from here, we rip it up. So from the fact that the Mishnah says that we tear it up, shoveras ksuva, so that means to say that we write for her a receipt, and the receipts we write for him a receipt that says where she admits to having committed adultery, so she can't claim from him the ksuba later. So that's what we say. So Shema's Mina Kosvin Shover. We see from here that if a person has this receipt paid, the IOU paid, that we write a receipt. And this is a dispute between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yossi elsewhere in Bava Basra and 170, whether or not we write a receipt, because then the person who gets the receipt, he has to watch it and make sure it wasn't used up. So Amar Abaye says, Tani Mikaras. No, we don't write the receipt, the ksuba. We don't write him a receipt to say we paid it, but we tear up the ksuba. That's what we do. We tear up the ksuba. So the Gemara says, Amalei Rava Vahashal Katani, but it says we do a receipt. So Rava says that our Mishnah is talking about a case where we don't write, where there were certain places we learned about in ksubos where they don't write ksubos, and so therefore, since we can't tear up her ksuba, she could just say it was the expectation that she could come and collect the ksuba. So therefore, to get rid of this problem, we have no choice but to write him a receipt. Vim amra tahora ani, but if she says I was tahora, malano salashari mizrach, we take her up to the eastern gate and we give her the bitter waters to drink there. So the Gemara says, malano. So what do you mean we take her up? Isn't she already there? Malano, so hasam kaimi. She's already there. She's already in the lishkas hagazis, because we said that the court is threatening her, intimidating her, and the lishkas hagazis, which is where the court meets, that's in the courtyard of the temple, is half in the kodesh and half in the chol, as it says in the second chapter of Maseches Yoma. So what do you mean we take her up? She's already up. So the Gemara says, no, what happens is they take her up to the Bezdin, and then after they take her up, they take her down again. And then they take her up in order to tire her out. So on the top of 8a, so they take her up to the court, then they take her down again, and then they take her back up in order to tire her out. So the Gemara says, "Tanya Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar Amar based in Masin es Aedim Makom Makom Kidei Shetitarf Datan Alein V'Yachzru Bahen." We want the court. This is psychological intimidation. We want to make sure that they're not lying, so we take them all around in order to make sure that they will recant if they're lying. And so therefore we take them all around. That's what we do to her. And we take her to the eastern gate because there we give the Sotah water to drink, and also there the Mitzorah gets the blood placed upon him, and that's where the Yoledes, the woman who gave birth, brings her carbon. The Gemara says, Bishlam Sotos. I understand where it says that's where the Sotah woman drinks, because it says in the Torah, it says the Kohen stands the woman up before God, and so therefore he gives her water to drink. Mitzorah and Nami, also the Mitzorah, the leper, that we know that he gets to drink there because it states, V'amida Kohen Amitaher. Now the Kohen who is purifying the Mitzorah stands him up before the entrance to the Ol Moed. Elioledes, what's the reason? Why the woman who gives birth? What's the reason? My timer, what's the reason? How do we know that she has to stand there to bring the carbon? As the carbon is brought, she goes to the entrance to the base of Mikdash. My timer. If you want to say that the reason is because she needs to be standing over her carbon, as it states when they bring their carbon, that it's a mitzvah for a person to stand and stand over his carbon, as it states. Mitzvah, Rashi tells us mitzvah sa'al adam she yamod v'yishmar al karbano. it's a mitzvah for a person to stand over his carbon, and we learn this out from the Sifri where it says Tishmeru lakriv li b'moado, and who can go into the Zara? Who's able to Misha Yachol Ikanes Bazar? Whoever's able to go into that to the courtyard temple, go in. But these women, they weren't able to go in because they were Mechuseres Kapara. And so since they couldn't go in until their carbon was brought, they stood at the entrance to the gate of the Nicanor, which was not yet consecrated, the entranceway. And so that's where they were standing because they had to bring the carbon, but they couldn't stand there. So they had to stand right at the entrance to it. So the Gemara says, Tanya, Ein Karbon Shel Adam Karev Amkin Omed Al Gabav. Person has to be standing on by his carbon in order to bring it, but she can't stand there, so she stands right outside. If that's the case, there are four Mechutzar Kipara: the Yoedes, the Mitzora, and the Zav and the Zava. The Zav and the Mitzora can also be a female, but the female Mitzora and the male Mitzora bring the same carbon, but the Zav and the Zava, they bring different carbonos, and so therefore the Zav and the Zava should also be standing there. Why doesn't it list the Zav and the Zava? So the Gemara says, yeah, it's true that the Zav and the Zav are also standing there at the entrance to the Nicanor gate, but the Talmud only lists one of the categories there. It could have listed all four. So we have a brisa which tells us that if two sotos came at the same time in the base of Mikdash, we don't give them both water to drink at the same time, because we don't want her to get arrogant as a result of seeing her friend is denying it. Because Rashi says maybe one of them will claim I'm innocent, and she's not going to admit that she was Tameya, and her friend, who is actually Tameya, will see that the other friend is not admitting it, and she's going to say, I'm going to be too embarrassed. And so therefore she's going to be strengthened in her denials from the fact that the first one is denying it. But Rabbi Yehuda Omer Loman Hashem Huzeh. Rabbi Yehuda says, no, that's not the reason why you can't give two sotas to drink at the same time. It's not because of the psychology. But it's based upon the fact that Pasuk says, Osa Levada, that the Kohen Veishpia Osa, the Kohen makes her take an oath that she didn't drink, that she didn't sin, which means Osa Levada, she or by herself. The Tana Kama Aksivo. So the Tana Kama says it's that we don't want her to become strengthened by the denials of the first one. What does the Tana Kama do with the fact that it says Osa? Tana Kama is Rabbi Shimon. The Tana Kama is actually in this case Rabbi Shimon, the Darish Taima Dekra, who explains the reasoning behind the verse. And what's Rabbi Shimon saying? Ma Tam Kamar. What's the reason why we give her to drink by herself? Ma Tam Osa Levada. Why is it she by herself drinking the bitter waters? Because we don't want her to gain strength from her friend who's denying the charges. My benai, was there a distinction between Rabbi Shimon and the Tana? Is there a distinction between Rabbi Shimon and Rabbi Yehuda? I'm going to say Rabbi Shimon says it's the reason is libo gaspa, and Rabbi Yehuda says that it's just based upon the Xeris HaKasav. It's the fact that the pasuk says Osa. So is there a difference between Rabbi Shimon and Rabbi Yehuda? Gemara says, yeah, there is a difference between them. When we see that the woman is rosecha, so we see that the woman is afraid, she's very afraid to drink, and she's still not admitting it. So according to the Tana Kama, we'll read the Rashi. We see that there's a woman who's afraid and she's not admitting it. But according to Rabbi Shimon, who says we don't want her to gain strength from her friend, well, Zu Anaru and Shein Liba Gospel, we see she's not gaining strength, and so therefore maybe we could give her a drink in that situation. But according to Rabbi Yehuda, doesn't explain the reasons for the verse. It says then we're not going to, even if we see that she's not afraid, even though we see she's very afraid, we still won't give her the water to drink. But if a woman, the Gemara asks another question. If she's really afraid, will we still give her the bitter waters to drink? We're not supposed to do two mitzvahs at the same time. We don't drink two sotas at once. If two mitzoras come before you at once, we're not matar them. We don't pierce the ear of two slaves who want to become free. We don't want to become free. We don't do that at the same time. We don't break the calves of the necks of two calves at the same time. Because we don't do more than one mitzvah at a time. So Amar Abai v'Teimer Rav Kana L'Kasha Kam B'Kohen Echad Kam B'Shnei Kohanim. Yeah, if there's one Kohen, for sure we wouldn't do two sotas at once. But if there's two Kohanim, each Kohen is only doing one mitzvah at a time, and so therefore we would have been able to do it, except for the fact that we don't do two sotas at once. What's the reason why we don't do mitzvahs chavilos? So Rashi tells us Nira Kamisha Hayu Olav Masoi. Rashi says the reason is because then it looks to him like the mitzvah is a burden, and he's trying to get rid of his burden. So it says in our Mishnah that the Kohen grabs a hold of her garment and tears it. And he uncovers the head of the woman. That I only know that he's allowed to uncover her head. How do we know he's allowed to uncover her body? So it says of the woman, and from the fact that it says ha'isha, that implies that he also reveals part of her body. If that's the case, why did he ask to tell us that we can uncover her head? Meaning to say that if the Torah writes ufaras ha'isha, we would know that he can uncover both her body and her head. So why did the Torah have to say ufaras rosh ha'isha? Mohammed Shakoin soser es Sarah. It says teaches us Kohen doesn't just uncover her hair, he also unties her braids. Rabbi Yehuda Omer im hayoliba noah, that if her body was, Rabbi Yehuda says that if her body was attractive, he does not uncover her body. So it must be that Rabbi Yehuda is concerned that this will lead to sin. And the Rabbanan who say that you do uncover it, they're not concerned about sin. But don't we learn the opposite? And when it comes to stoning a person who committed adultery, when we stone the woman, that how do you stone this woman? So we learned in the Brisa, that if it's a man, you uncover when he's stoned one that with respect to the man, you cover up, you take one piece of garment and cover it up on him from in front, and the rest of his body is naked. With the woman, you cover up two parts of her body, one in front and one from the behind, because her erva is seen from behind as well. So that's the position of Rabbi Yehuda. But the Chachamim say the man is the man is stoned while he's naked, but the woman is not stoned while she's naked, because we're concerned. Rabbi Yehuda is saying in this case, because according to the Chachamim, we're concerned about erva. So by this stoning, we say that the woman is not stoned while she's naked, but Rabbi Yehuda says she is stoned. Whereas in our case of the Sotah, Rabbi Yehuda is the one who's concerned about nakedness. So we see that they reverse their positions. Amarava hachataima mai shema teitze mi bezin zakai. So what's the reason why Rabbi Yehuda is here worried about the fact that it might be aroused men if they see this Sotah woman body? Because what's going to happen, says Rava, that Rabbi Yehuda is concerned that maybe she will be innocent. And then, as a consequence of having seen her innocent, the Pirchei Kahuna will become excited about her. But Hasam, with respect to the stoning, Hamistalka, she's going to die. And if you say they're going to be excited by somebody else, by a different woman, because they saw this woman was being stoned. Amarava. We have a tradition that the evil inclination, the desire for taiva, only comes down upon somebody whom they have already seen. So anyway, we see from here. So how do we explain the difference with Rabbi Yehuda? Rabbi Yehuda says by a Sotah, we are concerned about here, or we're concerned about improper thoughts, because she's going to come out alive maybe, and so then he'll be excited about her. Whereas when it comes to the stoning, we're not concerned because she's going to die. And if you get excited by one person, you're not going to have thoughts about another person. Whereas the Gemara now says, Rabbi says, Rabbi Yehuda kasha. So that was difficult for you, but the Rabbanan kasha. But what about the Rabbanan? Rabbanan is not difficult for you, but what about the fact that by the Sotah woman, the rabbis are not worried about her, and so therefore they say you can uncover her body, but by a regular stoning, they are her, and they say that they are worried about it. They say she has to be completely covered up. Amar Rabbi Yehuda Kasha Kedishanin. They said by Rabbi Yehuda, it's not difficult, like we taught that by a Sotah, he's worried that she's going to be found innocent, and so therefore we have to be worried about her. But we're not worried that she's going to be found innocent with respect to the woman who's stoned, because she's going to die. But the Rabbanan, Nami will kasha. Why? Why the rabbis were not worried about her by a Sotah? So what's the reason why the rabbis are not worried about her by a Sotah woman? And the reason is because we want to rebuke the women. We want to cause them to act modestly. And so therefore we have to uncover the Sotah woman's body. But Hasam, when it comes to death, there's no greater there's no greater warning than the fact that we're going to kill this woman who was adulterous. And so therefore they don't need to uncover her clothes to make the point even greater. The point is made. And if you want to say, well, why not do both? Kill her and also uncover her clothes when she's going to die. That even when you're killing her, you have to choose a nice, beautiful death, meaning to say you have to have dignity even while you're putting them to death, and so therefore we don't take her clothes off. So let's say this position of Rav Nachman, but whether you have to treat the person with dignity while you're killing them, is actually a dispute. That the Rabbanan who say that you're not allowed to take her clothes off when you stone her, they hold like Rav Nachman. But Rabbi Yehuda, who says that you're allowed to stone her naked, does not hold like Rav Nachman. The Gemara says no. So you want to say that Rav Nachman is weighing in on the side of the Rabbanan in this dispute amongst the Tanaim, or we're going to pigeonhole Rav Nachman into the Rabbanan's position. The Gemara says no. The Kuliyama Islu Rav Nachman. Everybody agrees with Rav Nachman. They have to choose a good death for somebody. So we're going to say the Rabbanan say that a person prefers to the Rabbanan say that the person's honor is more important for them than extra pain on their body, and so therefore they prefer to be clothed even though it'll take them longer to die. So at least they'll have their dignity while they die. Whereas Rabbi Yehuda says no, a person doesn't care, prefers to have less pain, even though they're going to have less dignity, and so therefore they prefer to die quicker, even without their clothing. And then it says that if she was wearing white clothing, we dress her in black, and if she was wearing black, we dress her in white. Tanam hayishlorim naim. If her black clothing was nice, then we dress her in disgusting clothes. If she had gold jewelry on her, we remove it. Pshita. So the Gemara says, of course we have to remove them. If we're going to do all these things to make her look disgusting, like we tear her garments, or you think we're going to leave the jewelry on her? No, the Gemara says, maybe this jewelry is going to be even more embarrassing. I mean, say wearing this jewelry while she's naked, maybe that'll be even more embarrassing for her. As we state, Shliach RTL, Visayim Misani. As we state that there was, if you're coming to see a person, we call him a naked agent. Visai Masani, but he's wearing shoes. I mean, say it looks even more ridiculous if he's completely naked, but he's wearing shoes. So that is even greater embarrassment. Kamash wants our time is saying no, we remove her jewelry. And then we bring the Egyptian cord and we tie it above her chest. So Rav Huna asks the question. So let's say you didn't do that. What is it going to be disqualifying? Do we say Mishum Shalo? What's the reason why you do it? Mishum Shalo Yishmetu Begadam Elahu Ubetzol Katan Namisagi. Do you require this Egyptian cord? Is the whole reason for it? It's so just so her clothes don't move, and so therefore you can use a small belt that you don't need a big fancy cord. Udilma mishum da amar hicha gralo b'tziltzil. She tied a belt in order to seduce this man. Which is and so therefore the Kohen is going to bring this Egyptian cord, which is either worth more or less than the other ropes. We'll look at what Rashi says here. And Rashi says, what does it mean? It says, Rashi says, now it's befun of. Tziltzil is a bundle. She used this like belt that was beautiful, so therefore we have to use a different belt. So we don't know. So Gemara says, "I'm going to the Mishnah. That we use this Egyptian cord and we tie it above her, so her belt doesn't, so her clothes don't move. So we see from here that the whole purpose is just so that the belt doesn't move. So it's enough with a small belt." So the Gemara says, whoever wants to see her can come along and see her. The Gemara says, Hagufa kasha. This itself is a contradiction. Amras kol rotza, whoever wants to see her will see her. Amaloshna gavri v'loshna nashi. We see from here that men and women can both come see her. But then it says at the end of the Mishnah, it says that women could see her, which means women yes, men no. Amar Abaye Tirgama Anashim. Abaye says no. When it says in the Mishnah, whoever wants to see it, it means only with respect to the women. Only women are allowed to see her in her nakedness. But it says whoever wants to see her. He says whoever wants to see her can see her. It doesn't matter if it's men or women, but but women are obligated to see her. Women have to see her and take it as a form of rebuke so they don't act like her. Now we come to this Gemara, which is very, very difficult. This Mishnah, right now we're doing the same daf, which 7.5 years ago, our friend Betzalel, his wife Malki, got sick while he was doing this daf Yomi. So this is the Mishnah that he always remembers. Hashem should have mercy on us and give us strength to overcome challenges in life. It says in the Mishnah, "B'midah she'adam moded ba modedinlo." The manner in which a person acts, God acts against him. He kashta esatzma lavera. She put on cosmetics in order to sin. Hamakom nivla. Hashem made her look disgusting. He gilta esatzma avera. She revealed herself to sin. She didn't act modestly. Hamakom gila Allah. Hashem revealed her sin. First, she sinned with the thigh, and afterwards with the stomach. It's unclear what that means. That maybe first means the woman sinned with the thigh and then the man sinned with the stomach. But lefikach, therefore, what's her punishment? First, her thigh will be destroyed and then the stomach. Vishar kolaguf will poet, and also the rest of the body will poet, will not be saved. Amar Rav Yosef, afagav demida betela b'mida will batal. Even though the manner itself that is established in the Torah for punishment is nullified because we no longer have the court to put people to death, nevertheless, the midah will batal. The actual way of being punished was not nullified. Sanhedrin, from the day the temple was destroyed, even though the Sanhedrin ceased, the 4 types of death did not cease. Gemara says batal, but we see they have ceased. The law of the 4 deaths has not ceased. Mishan is chayav skila, somebody is liable for stoning. He's either going to fall from a roof or a wild animal will destroy him. Mishan is chayav sreifa, somebody is liable for burning. Will either fall into a fire or nachash makicha, or a snake will bite him. Mishan is chayav hariga, somebody's liable for execution. On nimser malchus olistin b'inav. Either he's going to be handed over to the king, or bandits will come upon him. Mishin is chayav chanika. Somebody's liable for strangulation, or tovea benar or meis b'seroniki. Or he'll die. He'll either drown in the river, or die by this disease called seroniki, which is a disease in the throat. Tanya, Rabbi Meir Omer, Minayin Shavmidash Adam Modin Ba'am Modin Dinglo. How do we know in the measure in which a person acts, he's judged? As it says, Bisa sa sa b'shalchateri vena. That we, with a precise measure, you contend with her when you send her away. Bisa sa b'shalchateri vena from Isaiah. Eli Elasa, Minayel Rabos. Also, people who sinned with more than a sa, like a Tarkov. V'chatzi tarkov, v'kav v'chatzi, kav v'rova, v'chatzi rova, v'ocha. How do you know all these different measurements? Minayin tam omar ki kol sa'on, so ein barash. And the Gemara says from the word sa'on, we see from here that everything is appropriate. Minayin shekol pruta mitzarefes l'cheshbon gadol. How do we know that each part, each little part combines to add a large amount? Says the verse, achas la'achas l'mtzo cheshbon. So, and so too we find by the Sotah, the manner in which she acted, that's how she's going to be judged. She went standing by the crossroads to seduce him. Therefore, the Kohen stands here in front of everybody at the gate of Nicanor. It shows her shame to all. He appears below. Sudarna Narosha. She spread out very nice clothing on her head to seduce the man. Therefore, the Kohen removes her head covering. Puts it under her feet. She put on makeup. Therefore, her face is made to look like pale after she drinks the water. We have to stop here. We're on the top of Testament Aleph. Hashem should save us from any of these terrible things that are listed on today's daf. Hashem should give us the strength to have a Pesach of redemption. I'll be happy to take any questions if anybody has any questions.